Good afternoon, I'm Richard Brookes and I'm the principal here in the office of TaxAssist Accountants here on Mill Road in Cambridge. The office has been based here for just over 8 years now and has grown from a standing start of no clients to just over 500 clients we look after as we sit here today. Those clients are a mix of personal tax clients and small businesses. So by personal tax clients I would mean anyone who needs a self-assessment return completing regardless of their particular sources of income. By small businesses I'd mean sole traders, partnerships, limited companies of a size up to around a couple of million in turnover. So the services that we would offer to those clients would be anything from sort of day-to-day transactions such as their bookkeeping, VAT returns, payroll on a weekly or monthly basis, as what I would call regular transactions, and then the annual reporting work, which might be statutory accounts for filing with HMRC, with Companies House, tax returns, etc., etc. So really it's services that we offer are driven by what the client asks us to do. The nature of the businesses can really range from retailers, so where I'm sited here on Mill Road is ideal for us as a network because we have a lot of small businesses located on Mill Road itself and we look after a fair number of those. And of course in the side streets around and about there are many people who run a business from home. So again we would look after quite a number of them. That's not to say that all my clients are based within a sort of half-a-mile radius, but predominantly our clients will be located in Cambridge. I mean, we're sat here towards the end of the 2015-16 tax year, and with the advent of a new tax year, each year there come a number of changes which affect either individuals or small businesses, and this year will be no exception. There are, in my view, a number of fundamental changes, particularly to how small businesses will operate going forwards, or what I mean by that is how the owners of small businesses, where they are trading through a limited company, will be taking their money out of the business going forwards from April. The change that I'm referring to is the changes to the taxation of dividends. This is a fundamental change coming in which affects anyone who holds shares. Those might be in British Telecom, they might be in their own limited company, as indeed I have. The change is that everyone going forwards is going to have a £5,000 allowance each year, and the first £5,000 of dividends that they receive from any source in aggregate will be taxed at 0%, tax-free to the layman, but technically 0%. Over and above that figure, as a basic rate taxpayer, you will pay income tax at 7.5%, whereas previously you've not paid any income tax on dividend receipts. As a higher rate taxpayer, it will be 32.5%, previously it was 25%. So it's an across the board increase in the tax that you will pay as an individual of 7.5% essentially. So quite a sweeping change to owners of small businesses. Good bit of news for the small business owner though is that the employment allowance which employers receive relating to the employer's national insurance that they pay as part of their payroll cost, this allowance is being increased from £2,000 to £3,000 with effect from the start of the new tax year. So that's an extra £1,000 essentially in their pocket if they employ staff. Potential Downside to that is if you are a sole director and only employee of your company, the allowance has actually been withdrawn, but there are some ways that we can plan to avoid that. Many people will rent a room out in their private house and will be used to something called the rent-a-room allowance, very popular. Up until now, it's been £4,250, and that figure hasn't changed for quite a number of years. In the budget last summer, it was announced that this relief is increasing to £7,500 from the start of the new tax year. For savers, a good change that's coming in from the start of the next tax year is the introduction of an individual savings allowance, a tax-free savings allowance for basic rate taxpayers. The first £5,000 that you receive of savings interest will be tax-free. Yes, there's been a lot of feature in the press, in the media, over the living wage, as it's referred to, that's coming in, and undoubtedly that is going to have a cost for small businesses. I haven't heard from any clients that they're going to take any steps such as stop having employees. It is from April this year that £7.20 is the new national living wage that's been introduced for employees over 25. Pensions is entirely dependent upon what's called your staging date. So as an employer, you will receive a letter from the pensions regulator which gives you your staging date. And that might be, we have clients whose staging dates are from pretty much the start of this year right through to October next year. As applies to my client base, the majority have got to do something next year. Their staging date is at some point in 2017.
Sorry, what's staging date?
Staging date essentially is a date by when you have to have done something. So that something may be to have considered your employees and to have set up a pension scheme and to have gone through the process of auto-enrolment where relevant. It might be that as a single director of a company, you just look at it and you think, no, I don't want to do this. So there's an exemption that you can take by completing a form with the pension regulator. So the course of action is going to be dependent upon the nature of your workforce. And within that, there are age and earnings figures, essentially a number of hours that are worked as to how workers are defined, and that definition determines what you have to do as an employer.